through the years, technology has evolved. Now we have social media, and we all know that the social media is being used by elements, by organizations to destabilize the government. As we speak, even in the social media, they're talking about how to make bombs, Molotov bombs, and we are speaking here of some organizations, legal organizations, discussing about how to make Molotov bombs in social media. So I think the Chief of Staff is right about discussing this issue, the IRR on the use of social media, if only to make sure that this aspect of preventing terrorism or the spread of terrorism is addressed.
May we know, Mr. Chairman, which portion of the anti-terror law General Parlade is referring to? Because I don't recall any. Maybe the good general can refresh our memory on this.
Mr. Chair, I cannot remember the specific section or clause, but it's referring to preparations or being part in planning for a terrorist action. And I think this is one of the aspects of that law that's really important for us to discuss. It's the preparatory acts. These are very good. This is a very good clause of that law, and I think this is one aspect where we really have to look at the actions of people preparing for terrorist action. And as I've mentioned, discussions on how to make bombs, how to make Molotov bombs, and how to prepare for attacks is happening as we speak. It's happening in social media, and we're able to monitor it, but we cannot do anything about it. So thank you.
Just to be a specific example, you're saying that upon the effectivity of the anti-terror law, you can impose prior restraints so that Juan de la Cruz can be banned from accessing social media? Because he is known to be using social media to make bombs. Is that the regulation that you're looking for?
I cannot specifically, I don't have a specific idea how we are going to deal with this, but like if we see people talking about how to assemble bombs, how to make bombs, there has to be a specific way, there has to be a regulation on how to for instance, for us, for the security sector, to be able to monitor what they're doing, and probably to ask the courts, convince the courts that there's a probable cause, there's probable cause can be established with what you're seeing there, and I don't know exactly what we have to do and place in the IRR to make sure that these gaps would be addressed.
You know, Mr. General, monitoring and asking the courts is completely separate from regulating social media.
It's not really about regulating social media. I guess it's regulating the way people avail or access the social media, and the terms and conditions on what they are allowed to do in social media. Social media per se should be accessible to all, but the actions of people using this platform should be regulated. So I don't know exactly how we can do that, but I think that's the idea of the Chief of Staff.
Mr. General, this is precisely what prior restraint is all about. When you regulate what one is allowed to do, that's prior restraint, and that's prohibited. And Senator Lacson did not intend that. That's why I am a little concerned about your statement. Yes, I can understand fully your support for your Chief of Staff, but I think, as Senator Lacson said, it should have been qualified. Now, you did not help the position of your Chief of Staff, Amy, by saying that the regulation will determine what they are allowed to do. I would repeat, this is precisely prior restraint, which is prohibited under our Bill of Rights and under our democratic system of government. You cannot impose prior restraint. Those users of social media who may violate the law would be answerable in terms of sedition, in terms of whatever you have at violation of the Anti-Terror Act, but you cannot determine what they are allowed to do because there is a process that is involved to punish what they did in social media, not that you will determine what they should be allowed to do.
So, General Gapay should have qualified his statement because it's all encompassing. When you say regulate social media, that's it, regulate. But you know, there are qualifications in the provisions of the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020 that we have to establish the intent and purpose, di ba? Kailan establish mo yung motive. It's not prior restraint, but the use of social media in the planning, preparation, and even the execution of terrorist acts. So while I admire your statement that you support the statement of the Chief of Staff, it's lacking in substance. Dapat ang sinabi niya, it should have been qualified. So pagka nagsalita kayo, because this is a very sensitive issue, subject of discussion and even pending decision by the court. There are at least 26 petitions filed already.